Joining us right now, he's our guest every week when we're lucky. He's Larry Kudlow from CNBC. Of course, also the host of The Larry Kudlow Show on WMAL, Saturday, 7 p.m. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Larry, I'd love for you to comment on this because it sort of stretches across the political, the social, and the economic spheres. Mitt Romney, who is now openly flirting with the idea of running for the GOP nomination again in 2016, he was giving a speech yesterday in front of a big college group, and he was talking about poverty. And he says, hey, you want to know one way to solve poverty in America? Start promoting marriage. Marriage is your ticket out of poverty. I'd love for you to give a reaction to that.
I agree with him, by the way. Even though I confess each night when I say my prayers, I ask the Lord not to nominate Mitt Romney, even though he's a fine person. I don't want him to be nominated. On the specific question you ask, yes. I've written columns about this. Family breakup is one of the most important aspects of the poverty story. You can almost track the lack of social mobility from broken families, from kids from broken families. And the culture of marriage has been in decline. There was a story I saw that the divorce rate was actually slowing, so that's good. I saw that in the New York Times about a month ago. But still, it's absolutely the case. And they don't learn responsibility, leadership, discipline,
And
maybe some of us take for granted that you don't get in a single-family home. You know what you have, by the way? You have two people living at home together who are not married, both of whom are getting welfare checks. I mean, that's a pathetic role.
Isn't it interesting, though, to see a conservative making the case, the economic case for marriage and for social issues like that, saying that it's better for our society economically, it's going to help all of our culture that way, instead of just sort of, the image of a conservative talking about social issues like that is almost like, an angry old grandfather trying to shake a finger and lecture you about how you should behave. Instead, we're making a positive message here about the benefits of this kind of behavior.
Do I strike you as an angry old grandfather?
Oh, no, I'm talking about all those other guys.
What have I done to
I would love for
moniker?
You to be my grandpa, Larry. That would be great.
Listen, I just think that, first of all, it's not a new argument, okay? It's been percolating in Republican circles for quite some time. As I said, I wrote a piece called Marriage is Pro-Growth, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. That was my column for National Review and CNBC. And
so Romney's just channeling you.
Yeah,
well,
a little plagiarizing.
If he had done more 4 years ago, he might be president. But I think that it is a very important point, and I'll tell you what else here. First of all, there's a marriage penalty in the tax system that we've all known about for a long time. That should be completely erased. And second of all, people, you ought to go to school, finish school, either go to a 4-year college or a 2-year college and get a job, okay, and then get married and be married for a while with some stability and then have the kid. We're doing it backwards. People are having the kid first, okay, without the job, without the strong marriage, and without the education background. We have to change this. It's not easy. It will require changes in government policy. It will also require a lot of leadership. I think all these Republican candidates should be out there saying what Mitt is saying. And by the way, I kid about Mitt not getting the nomination. I think the world of Mitt Romney. Don't get me wrong. A fine man, fine character, everything. But I would like to see a new face this time.
All right. So, look, I turn to you, Larry, to help me understand, because I get confused with what's going on in the world around me, and I need the clarity of Larry Kudlow to explain it to me. So explain this to me. Gas prices are low, and, man, people are just eating that up. The dollar is strong. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm told. Mm-hmm. And yet, I hear that the stock market is crashing because of the strong dollar. It somehow makes the stock market weak. I don't understand that part of it. How does that work?
You shouldn't understand it. It's not true. And I've said this to you before. You must listen to me. You must filter out the noise that you're hearing.
There's so many voices.
By the way, stocks are only off about 3.5% from the peak. Let me just say that, okay? And you had a handful of industrial companies report earlier this week, Caterpillar being one, that used the stronger dollar as some kind of excuse for a slowdown in sales. I hate whining, and a lot of these companies that aren't executing properly love to find blame. If it's not one thing, it's the other. the dollar, first of all, makes all our imports cheaper, and that's a great boon for consumers. Regarding exports, the dollar, first of all, lowers the cost of every commodity or input price because the dollar is strong and all those commodities are weak. You add that to lower oil prices, which used to be an import commodity, but we're doing most of it at home. The whole cost structure of American business has come way down, and the strength of the consumer dollar has gone way up. Both of those are good things. If you look back in the 80s and 90s, we had a strong dollar period, and the stock market went up 12-fold. So you have a lot of people of the Keynesian variety who somehow feel you could devalue your way into prosperity. If that were true, if you could devalue your way into prosperity, then the two leading economies in the world today would be Venezuela and Argentina. So I beg you, these phone conversations we have once a week are so important for you.
It is for
to
me.
Listen to these enlightened views of mine. I call it King Dollar. I think I have a hashtag on it now called King Dollar. I don't want it to go up 30% in the next 3 days. Don't get me wrong. But the dollar is slowly and surely over the past 3 years and mostly over the last 7 or 8 months regained a lot of its prior losses. This is a good thing. It will attract capital from all over the world. It lowers our cost structure. And as Ronald Reagan once said, a great country needs a strong and reliable currency. And as in all things, Reagan was right.
I learn from you every week, Larry.
Okay.
In fact, I wanted to let you know, I was going to send you an email, but I'll just tell you now. We homeschool our 10-year-old Christian, and he asked me a question about why, how does the government print money? And I actually used one of your articles about it. I used your article and also the idea of Pokemon trading cards and how Pokemon cards have different values based on that. And so thank you for that, Larry, for helping me explain.
Well, anytime. If you want me to go in for a special lecture into your living room, I'm available to doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely available. I don't drink, but you can give me a Diet Coke.
Yeah. All right.
He does weddings and bat mitzvahs.
Larry, we touched on Romney. We've only got a minute here, but I would love your take on the other events in Iowa, the other candidates. Scott Walker, who I know I've heard you praise quite a bit, he really seemed to wow people, and also Carly Fiorina.
Yeah.
What do you think?
By the way, Carly, who is a pal of mine, but she's doing a great job with her conservative message, spreading it around. As a leading woman, I hate to characterize people. Scott did great. He got great reviews. Rick Perry did great. He got great reviews. And I think in terms of the top tier of candidates right now, Scott Walker and Rick Perry are, they are very much in the mix along with Jeb Bush and maybe Mitt Romney.
And your guy, Chris Christie, who you're such a big fan of there up in New York, New Jersey?
I think Chris Christie, right now is a little bit disorganized. I don't think he has a clear message other than Chris Christie, but I don't think he has a real message on issues. He also doesn't have what some of these other fellows have. He doesn't have a New Jersey story to tell. Scott Walker has a great Wisconsin story to tell. John Kasich in Ohio, Rick Perry in Texas. They all have good state stories that they can spread nationwide. I think Chris is still looking for that narrative.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there.
Thank you, Professor.
Good to have you. And I appreciate the lesson. Oh, he's gone. He's done with us.